Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful queen who longed for a child. One winter's day, as she was sewing by the window, she pricked her finger, and 3 drops of blood fell on the snow. She wished for a daughter with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony. Soon, her wish came true, and she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl named Snow White. Sadly, the queen passed away shortly after. The king remarried a beautiful but vain and cruel woman who owned a magical mirror. The queen would often ask the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror always replied, "You, my queen, are the fairest of them all." Years passed, and Snow White grew up to be more beautiful than anyone in the land. One day, the magic mirror told the queen, "Snow White is now the fairest of them all." Filled with jealousy, the queen ordered a huntsman to take Snow White into the forest and kill her. She demanded that he bring back Snow White's heart as proof. The kind-hearted huntsman could not bring himself to harm Snow White. He told her to run far into the forest and never return. Snow White wandered through the woods until she came across a small cottage. Inside, she found 7 tiny beds, chairs, and plates. Exhausted, she fell asleep. When the owners of the cottage, 7 dwarfs, returned home, they found Snow White and listened to her story. They offered her shelter in exchange for helping with chores. Snow White lived happily with the dwarfs, but the evil queen soon discovered through her mirror that Snow White was still alive. Disguising herself as an old woman, the queen visited the cottage and gave Snow White a poisoned apple. One bite caused Snow White to fall into a deep, death-like sleep. The dwarfs, heartbroken, placed her in a glass coffin, believing she was too beautiful to bury. One day, a prince passing through the forest saw Snow White in the coffin and was enchanted by her beauty. He asked the dwarfs for permission to take her to his castle. As his servants carried the coffin, they stumbled, and the piece of poisoned apple dislodged from Snow White's throat. She woke up, and the prince declared his love for her. Snow White and the prince returned to his kingdom and were married. The evil queen, upon hearing that Snow White was alive and now a queen, was consumed by her rage and jealousy, leading to her downfall. Snow White and the prince lived happily ever after, surrounded by love and joy. The end.